The mysterious B-2 stealth bomber has been deployed again. The United States has urgently mobilized 5 B-2 stealth bombers, along with a large number of C-17 transport aircraft and KC-135 refueling tankers, and dispatched them to the Diego Garcia military base in the Indian Ocean. Just think about what kind of incident could prompt them to urgently deploy 5 B-2s. The last time they were deployed was probably last year. At that time, one B-2 took off from the mainland of the United States, bypassed the Atlantic Ocean, flew to the Middle East, and launched several missiles at the Houthi rebels in Yemen. Then, it first went to the Diego Garcia military base for refueling, and later flew to Australia for another refueling. Only then did it cross the Pacific Ocean and return to the mainland. It flew more than 40,000 kilometers around the Earth. The B-2 is known as a flying golden house because it is extremely expensive to operate. Flying around the Earth just to drop a few bombs, it's hard to understand what they were thinking. It seems that they didn't even hit the target. Maybe the demonstration of its power was more significant than its actual use. So, for the United States to send out 5 of these money-devouring beasts all at once, what do you think they are up to? First of all, the USS Harry S. Truman aircraft carrier was attacked in Yemen, and it was definitely a real attack. It couldn't withstand the pressure. It's not because the missiles of the Houthi rebels in Yemen are too powerful. Instead, the United States never expected that these Houthi rebels, somehow, had learned the tactic of saturation attacks. Let me tell you, when it comes to attacking an aircraft carrier, it's not necessarily about how advanced your missiles or drones are. These aren't the most crucial factors. The key is knowing how to carry out saturation attacks against it. By launching attacks from different directions and at different speeds, you don't actually need extremely advanced weapons. All you need to do is make it impossible for the U.S. Aegis defense system to intercept all the incoming attacks at once. At that point, the aircraft carrier is truly in danger. Look, this time the Houthi armed forces have showcased a new type of missile. They said that this high-frequency offensive included the use of this missile. It has added wing surfaces at the front, which means it has stronger maneuverability. When the U.S. uses the standard 3 interceptor missile to intercept it, it can maneuver to avoid being hit, thus increasing the difficulty of interception. Just imagine carrying out saturation attacks on the aircraft carrier several times in a row. I think the USS Harry S. Truman probably couldn't hold up under the pressure. Of course, it's not likely to be sunk, but it's very possible that it was actually hit. That's why the United States urgently dispatched the USS Carl Vinson aircraft carrier, which was deployed in the Asia-Pacific region, over there. In the future, there will be 2 aircraft carrier strike groups in the Middle East. The United States may launch attacks against the Houthi rebels from both the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf directions to reduce the risk of being subjected to saturation attacks. Secondly, the real purpose of deploying these 5 B-2s is to intimidate Iran. To be honest, using a strategic weapon like the B-2 to attack the Houthi rebels is overkill. It's more about putting pressure on Iran, sending a message to Iran that it shouldn't disrupt the US's layout in the Middle East. Because the United States wants to control the oil exports in the entire Middle East and then suppress the Asia-Pacific region. Also, regarding Iran's nuclear weapon issue, once it threatens Israel's security, the United States will definitely take immediate action to strike. It won't hesitate. It must ensure Israel's security. As for the third point, it's probably because the repeated attacks by the Houthi rebels have made the United States lose all its prestige. It's not a good idea to keep dragging things out like this. You know, a single standard 3 missile costs about $4 million. Interceptor missiles are too expensive. So, the United States wants to solve the problem as soon as possible. By deploying the B-2s, it can directly carry out high-frequency strikes deep into the interior to precisely target the Houthi armed forces' ammunition depots and so on. Otherwise, it's only a matter of time before one of the U.S. aircraft carriers is actually sunk. After all, a turn-based situation is too insecure. Don't you think so?